Hey people, Harris here. This is Pokemon Fan News for March 2025. In the initial releases section, we have 6 new projects. A pretty short list this month for some reason. Mahogany is a unique RPG Maker project because unlike every other RPG Maker game on this list, Mahogany is sticking to a Gen 2 art style, and pulling it off pretty well too. It's clearly very well put together and well made in its first hour or so that I've played, and it brings all the performance improvements and quality of life and upgrades of modern RPG Maker games to a Crystal-like game. As I've mentioned many a time, Gen 1 and 2 are not for me, so personally I won't be playing this, but I do recommend it. Old World Down is another RPG Maker game that has a ton of potential. Right out of the gate, you see the effort they put into audio design and music. The tile sets are great, although simplistic. The human overworld sprites are decent, but this elongated Stardew Valley-like humans are not really for me. The cutscenes are a little weird in how they present things, but they're a welcome addition. And the drawn, pseudo-3D dialogue sprites objectively detract from the game. They're not good. Yet. The UI, battle backgrounds, and Pokemon sprites are amazing though. With a little more polish and replacing the obvious dialogue sprite issue, this game would be amazing. My suggestion is to just let the sound designer and or music guy just go wild. I won't be playing this, but I would recommend it. Bizarre is, as the title would suggest, weird. The title screen opens with a neon vaporwave art style and slow and sad piano. What? This is a Spanish RPG Maker game that is being slowly translated to English. That translation clearly has some work to do because dialogue will cut in and out of English and Spanish at random. The game opens with some rock and roll bro dude in what looks like a theater explaining some basic exposition stuffs, and he picks you out of the crowd to help him. Once you get to the lab, you find the rocker dude bro rocking it out to the detriment of everyone in town. You get hit with some funky noises in the form of music every time you transition from one place to another. And then you find a random Hoopa portal in the forest, you hop in because why not? Why is this music so like... Anyways, you get sent to the femboid dimension where you save 2 people stuck in here. You get back to the lab and everyone complains that they've lost their license to practice and that the music experiments have been killing the mons. Fortnite bug. The fake mon in this are fine, really. The sprites are good and the UI and music are really amazing though. The music really does a good job of making you feel like this is some JoJo's Bizarre Adventure world. It's very bizarre game, which makes sense. It's pretty good at keeping its theme consistent. I think I might try some more of this. Not bad. Swirling Seasons is a RPG Maker fan game made by my favorite PokeTuber, Loxton and Noggin. Notice me senpai. They have been designing the world and the story of this game for years in a series of YouTube videos which I love. Although I never recall him saying he was making a game, it was clearly obvious for a while now that it was happening sooner or later. The human battle sprites are in that uncanny valley of being great, but there's still something that feels off about them and it's not quite obvious what it is. Tofrug, I love you. That is all. The dialogue sprites and Fakemon sprites are actually quite amazing though. I don't know if they're in the game yet, but I have been thinking about these 2 Fakemon for years. The tile sets and map layout are great. Some areas actually have some of the best looking locations I've seen in any one of these fan games. Just wow. My singular suggestion is that if you add a ton of Fakemon to the game, You should also add typing indicators to the battle UI so I don't have to keep guessing what type the enemy mons are, because that gets really annoying really fast. Honestly, I started playing this and I lost track of time and ended up playing for hours on end, so definitely play it. Lazarus is a ROM hack made by the dev of Emerald Sea Glass, one of the best looking ROM hacks of last year. This ROM hack project was initially announced with the title of Sunset, but for unclear reasons it's been renamed to Lazarus. It looks as you'd expect, mind-blowing. It's clearly based on a Gen 2 art style, but heavily stylized beyond recognition. The tile sets and Pokemon sprites blow most games out of the water. And the best part of this game is that it doesn't stick to Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon like a lot of these projects do, because Gen 1ers will never let go. This game actually has Pokemon from every generation all throughout the game. I was fascinated by the fact that I was finding, Gen 6 and Gen 5 and Gen 7 and Gen 9 Pokemon all throughout that I absolutely love in a Gen 2 art style. That really did a lot to make me like this. In case it wasn't obvious so far, I absolutely love this game. For the first couple hours I played it. I will definitely be playing more of it, and you should too. I'm very excited for the future, for whatever this dev makes. Right at the end here, I'm going to add an extra project that I just completely forgot about and lost track of. There was a project called Myth 2 that released their 0.1 version sometime at the beginning of this month, and it's received consistent updates. It's up to 0.6, I believe, and I just forgot to play it, so there's no footage, but yeah. In the update section, we have only 4 projects that I could find. This month is very dead. Very strange. You start off with Silicon, which is a relatively boring Fire Red-like game. That sure is Fire Red and Emerald assets reshuffled around again. The story and gameplay could be fine, but the art style sticking so close to Gen 3 is just not my thing. Decimation Chapter 2 is an intriguing game with cool UI and tile sets. You get to walk around town for a couple minutes for no apparent reason until you run into a Genshin Impact Cynthia, who bombs your town for seemingly no reason. The game then immediately time skips 472 years later. Why? The dialogue is quite boring and uninteresting, but every once in a while you start getting the feeling that you're stuck in some sort of underground vault and you are trapped inside. The UI, music, human battle sprites, and the backgrounds are pretty great at setting the mood and set a clear tone for what the place is going to feel like, which is actually pretty rare for games to do. They're not really good at setting the mood or theme. One of the first things I noticed was that I was a bit taken back by the obvious AI-generated backgrounds. I hate AI art as much as any other rational person, but let's be honest here. Random assets here and there in a free fan game just to set the mood, ideally as placeholders until you can get real art, are not really a problem. Now, if this was a paid project or shown off as some sort of game jam competition entry, then we would begin to start having problems, because that's not okay. However you feel about it, play it if you will. It seems fine enough. But it's a little too edgy and wacky for me, so The next 2 are just the 4chan games that are not allowed in civilized society, both receiving updates, seemingly at the same time. We have Clover 2.0, which is a major release update, and ROWE 2.032. Neither of these is really for me, so have at it if you will. Another thing I'd like to show you is all the random mystery dungeon projects I last updated. Can we please add date and time to these project pages? Also, maybe patch notes? Please, dear God, it makes it so difficult to figure out what was posted when and keeping track of updates. And with all due respect, I am not digging through every single project's personal Discord just to figure that out. That's not happening. In the quality of life and difficulty sections, we have yet another endless torrent of random games I will never play. Again, there's nothing wrong with any of these games, I just don't enjoy playing quality of life or difficulty hacks of games I've already played. I'm just putting these here so they get the publicity they deserve, and maybe one of these becomes the next Radical Red. Who knows? In the announcement section, we have nothing. Okay. In the cancelled section, we have Explorers DNX. The Dream Nexus created ROM hack of Mystery Dungeon DX, based on Explorers of Sky. It has been cancelled due to the developers losing interest in the project. Like, this simultaneously gives me unbelievable levels of nostalgia. Oh my god. The actual Discord server for the project has been completely deleted because the donor was ridiculous. But the community around this project has made a new Discord, which I will not be publicizing here because they don't want the attention yet. Now, as I've mentioned, sadly none of the Explorers DNX mods files are public. However, as of this moment, I have access to the chapter 1 through 3 alpha of this mod, which I will be making a video on and explaining more of what exactly happened to this server and this community that just evaporated from one day to the next. And that video will come out sometime in April. Yes, I already know. Please don't ask. I'm not allowed to give you the files. But I have been allowed to make this video and the next video on the alpha itself. In the news section, we have 3 pieces of news. We have the usual project, who shall not be named, has been updated to 25.02.23 with a massive amount of new features. Not sure exactly how these devs keep pumping out at such a ridiculous rate, but what would competitive Pokemon be without them? Wild track record, honestly. Second project released this month, not directly tied to things I care about, is Terramon. It's yet another Pokemon mod for Terraria. It looks pretty decent compared to the other 2 I could find. Although I don't really play Terraria much, so I can't really tell you about the quality of the mod, but it was announced and you guys should try it out if you do happen to play modded Terraria. The third bit of news here is that the Insert Name Game Jam 2 has begun. It's running from March 21st to April 25th. This game jam has absolutely nothing to do with this video at all, I promise. But for no particular reason at all, if you happen to be in this community, you should go check it out. In the late news section, I have a bit of news that was released months ago, but I just neglected to make a video that month because I was, I don't know, depressed or something. I don't know. We have the final, but probably most important piece of news from this entire video is a new project that seeks to make a Pokemon Essentials automated translator. As far as I can tell, it just can take any Essentials based game and translate all of the text line by line to and from any language. Not sure if you need the decompiled game or if you can just run it on any game like adding a mod, but this looks like an absolutely monumental step for Essentials based projects. This can and will lead to substantially more translations of games into at minimum English and Spanish, but also hopefully into other languages that have decent fan game community sizes, such as Japanese, Chinese, French, Italian, and German. And that, my friends, is all the news for the month of March 2025. If you've liked this, please like and subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and check out my Ko-Fi to give me money so I can do more of this. Please.